Welcome back to part 4 of What If Zuko was... I forget the girl's name. This girl right here from Bleach. So, yeah, where we left off, Zuko beats the boss. The boss had, like a company that turns girls from, like, being free to being, like, turned into slaves thing. Well, the boss died. So, with his entire crew. And, yeah. So, this is just a made-up part, so bear with me now. So, Zuko ends up walking from where the destroyed thing. He walked all the way from there, or from the... That was 14 million trillion billions miles away, all the way to, like, back to his hometown, or his home city. They all had, as everyone was crying, because they knew that Zuko is dead. But then Zuko walked over. He had a quarter thing. He actually went to one of the nearest islands. As he calls his mom, or Asashi, actually, because Asashi was actually in Japan, and at the time, as he looks at his phone, as he was crying, and it was a known mystery. So then after they had the, like, ceremony thing, Zuko was a little bit upset. But only 2 people know that he was still alive is, of course, because Stars and Stripes knew that if one person that can survive the explosion, or no one could survive that explosion, it can erase the quirk from, because it's a nuke. So Zuko calls, and Asashi was, like, answered after the ceremony to answer that weird guy's thing. As he says on the phone, he says hello. Of course, Zuko says, "Is this Asashi or Inko?" "This is Asashi. What do you want?" As he says now, of course he says, "Hey mother, what's up?" As Zuko, it was based off of Asashi's, like, when Asashi heard Zuko's voice, he immediately broke down in tears. Like, "Where are you at, son? I'll be right there." I don't know the exact location, so, but You know where that nearest island to that, like, where that ship was at? Yeah. And the only two people that do know where Zuko's, or that Zuko is still alive, is Nezu and All Might. So, because All Might knows that Zuko is the immortal, so she's like thinking, or let's change over to her. So she's thinking about him. He sacrificed his own life to have the girls' freedoms, things like they're free. And she thinks in her head of if she had him, or she needs more people like him to exist in this world, she would. So then when Zuko, so now Asashi tells Seal, Captain Seal, to pick up a certain someone. And from, okay, as the the ship goes over, or like Captain Seal looks over, or as they basically, or actually, Zuko tells Asashi he'll come right to you. Yeah, or I'll come right to you, father. How will it was 40, like, basically a half away from the Washington. And how in the heck will he go all the way from past Washington all the way back to where, as Asashi he wants to know, as Zuko walks all the way from after, like, he visits. See you soon, father. As he hangs up a phone. As he walks all the way from where he was at, all the way to there. And there was no fishes that were like, sharks don't even bother him, like, yeah, so he walks all the way back to his home. Imagine walking all the way from, like, one side of a world all the way to the other, like back to your home. That's pretty far distance. And from, yeah, so he walks all the way from there to home. And All Might was like, okay, as Asashi has tears of joy. As he's happy. As Asashi walks over to the water, or to the ocean, the, like, Zuku Beach thing. And they go, and he waits for them. It's been no lane. As she was wondering why this someone's dad is waiting for them. As a bubbles comes out of the water. A green-haired, looked like moss, comes out of the ocean. As he looked like a big monster, like covered in seaweed. As she's about to attack, but then the Asashi he says, "Hey Zuko, what's up?" As she stops her attack. As he lifts his head up, and as he hugs his father, his father says, "Yeah, you're probably, the mother will probably be a little bit upset that you're covered in seaweed." But then they all thought he was a monster. So then when he walks to the home, as he's covered in it's basically like if you were covered in moss yourself. Like the seaweed. As he would rather so of course, Sashi was like, "Here, let me help you," like taking all that extra moss off. So Zuko, who like takes off all of that moss stuff, and all that like seaweed stuff, because it scares the people. And so then, of course, she helps him. Her. So, yeah. And after all the moss comes off, he's soaking wet. So he goes to the shower. Or actually, and Inko was like, at first she was sad. But then when Astashi walks in, because she wants to have her son back. And what does she do? She literally tried to, so she was watching a TV show to get her mind off of that little bit of detail. As Asashi was, so let's say there was Zuko who goes into the shower. He might end up missing a few spots, so she actually went with him to the shower. Yeah. As the big buff guy, So she ends up seeing his naked body. And her heart starts to pound very hard. Like, she wants to, like, get in there with him. Of course, she has to because of there might be a wrong. So, she turns into, and he's embarrassed to, like, see a girl that first she, like, she thought he was evil and demonic one. Or, like, she thought he was, like, evil and, like, all boys need to die and all that stuff. Well, Zuko made an influence on her. Not the, like, oh, I'm not a bad person and kind. I'm just I'll do the same thing. So yeah. It was just weird. So then after the moss and all that stuff came off of his body and he got clean, he was happy. But the next day, he wants to surprise Inko. As Inko was basically still, like, wants her child back, and she couldn't handle the losing him. But then we have, like, so Inko knows that deep down that her son will make it through, but she doesn't trust it. So she's losing hope. But then, out of nowhere, Asashi took her to, like, the couch, sat her down, and she wants us to see her child again. As Asashi tells her that you will. Oh. So she basically slept in the same bed as Zuko. As her face is red with, like, her face was so red that because she knew that she slept with a man and but she actually doesn't, like, really care that much. But people like Mina might, like, make a big influence on her, like try to make her feel embarrassed. So yeah. So then Zuko comes up. Of course, he got his clothes on. So did her. As he walks behind Inko, as Asashi gave him a hand signal. Or Inko understands what the hand signal is. as he's just wiping his nails, but he's really just telling him to come, as, are you, like, sad that Zuko passed away? As, yeah, so she's like, I miss him terribly and all that stuff. Well, let me tell you something, Inko. Zuko is basically, as Zuko or Asashi tells her that her son is immortal. Basically, he can never be killed. As she wants to believe that, but deep down, but then a hand comes out of nowhere. Or taps on her shoulder. And she looks behind. And yeah. So she was like wondering where that tap was. And then when she came, like when she turned back around, she sees Zuko standing right next to Asashi. As he says, you thought I was dead? And mother? As she gets up and she runs and straight up tackles him, tries to make him fall to the ground. But then she was basically, she knew in the deep down, she's happy to see him. As the Asashi told her that he walked all the way from that bomb explosion thing all the way to where, all the way back to here. So, yeah. And of course, one other person that snuck out of the house was actually her. Because she was so embarrassed. And of course, she has a backpack thing with her clothes in it. So she has her school clothes on. And she wants to. And she's happy to see him. Like, she's smiling at him. And yeah. So she waits at the door. And yeah, he wants to surprise her as he tells her. Of course, he did tell Ingo that he wanted to surprise her when on his return. But the seaweed would probably got in the way and all that stuff. As Zuko was, he said that with honesty. Yeah, as Inko says, so he goes with, of course, Zumi was there, or no, actually she was at school. She's sobbing out of her eyes because she misses her brother. And yeah. So then, long way from Zuko's house to the school, she tells him that, how did it feel to, like, beat those guys up, those villains that tried to kidnap me and all the other girls? As he says, me against their boss, huh? House is not very pleasant. He sprouted crud and like he wanted to turn you into his wife and force you to like accept it and all that stuff. And yeah. That's one way to make her be quiet for as he says that as Zuko tells her that he is serious about that. But I just knocked his butt out and I took a blade and jammed it through his chest and told him that the only people that would deserve like your love thing is people that treat you with kindness. As when she heard him right, as she runs up to him, and she kisses him on a cheek. As she says, Zuko, you're always gonna be, no matter what, you're always gonna be mine. Hey? So, yeah. So then they walk in, and as they know that the barrier or the beeper thing, as Zuko just like want to surprise them as he like opens the doors to make sure, as he calls Nezu, as Nezu says, Zuko Midoriya, how have you been? Pretty good, and I want to surprise the Class 1A students, and hey? So they bypass the thing, so they go in without any detection. As he did tell Nezu that he's back from the as Inko, or not Inko, the Ochako and Mina, everybody's like is crying because they know that they would never see him again. And then they had a knock on a door. So they open the door. She walks through. She says, sorry I'm late. Ain't my way. And there's some, like, as the guy, as when, after she entered, she took her seat, as Mr. Izawa was like, don't worry, you're kinda like the same on time, actually. As Zuko knocks on the door, louder than like hers, as he slides the door open, and as Zuko walks in, as he wants to surprise them. As they said, or as he says that how much, as he mimics his voice to be like those like guys, the boys one, As those girls are terrified, they don't want to get captured again. As they walk in, or he walks in, as instead of like, huh, guess you fell for my like little bit of a prank thing. Hey everyone. And as everybody's jaws dropped. Like, yeah. And their eyes are like popping out of their heads. They could not believe that Zuko. They see Zuko. Who? They see him. And they all like, good to see you, Zuko Midoriya. Man, me walking all the way from the shipwreck to here. It's not my favorite resort, but yeah, he got my exercise in. Heck, Mr. Izawa is happy to see him. Everyone was like, holy crap. Like, their eyes are like, or Chaco, who was like, holy crud. Is that really you, Zuko? It's been a long time. I thought you were dead. We all thought you were dead. No, I got knocked in the head. As they see a mark on his head, he got whacked in the head. And he tells them that he literally had to walk all the way from, or when he got back up, he sees the corpse of their boss, or the villain's boss. And he told them the entire story. And he says, I'm thankful that I'm still alive. As they knew that he would rather hang around with them than just hanging around with those idiots and those villains. So yeah, what does Zuko do? He wants, or of course, everyone hugs him and tells him that they miss him, and they're glad that he's back from. As he makes a joke that like, I'm immortal, but yeah. As he wipes off some of the head, like bumps it out. So, yeah. Usually, under normal circumstance, when you get hit in the head, you lose your memories. But Zuko, who had a mind power, so basically he could put his memories into his power, or so that if he does forget, he can remember. Like back. So, yeah. So then they all like asked him, dude, how was the fight thing? So, like, it was pretty scary, as they told him. It was scary. Probably, if it was one of us, we would all probably be scared. As Zuko says, nah. When you have the infinity and zero, things are way too easy for you. No. Like, he can So, yeah. Momo wraps her arms around him. As, yeah. So, then, Momo and her, instead of arguing, they became more of like best friends. And they both were dating Zuko for a long time. So everyone didn't know that, or most people don't know that Zuko died. Or they thought he was dead, but it turns out he was still alive. So he gets married. Like a time skip. They got married between him and her and Momo. Oh, man. And you know how many kids that they produce? 12 kids. 6 kids for each. 6 boys, 6 girls. Yeah. Because they looked like... Yeah. All 6 of them have different powers, or 12 of them. So, it was weird. Some of them, or most of them, like all of them, have kindness in their hearts. Like, here, let me help you. Thing. Yeah. So then, of course, Zuko was strong enough to take out anyone. Heck, the meteor... There was a meteor that was gonna hit in this What If universe, the one that I'm doing. But Zuko just simply, instead of panicking, he jumps and he kicks the meteor, making it fly away from him. Yeah. Zuko had that much power. And they became pro heroes before. So now this is the end of the What If. So please leave a like, share, subscribe, comment. And if you guys want me to do the What If Moo Moo was in My Hero Academia, because I love that What If series that I make, or you want me to make a custom one. Like, I don't know, probably what if Creeper, not the ones that, like, they stockpile a person. No. I'm talking about the Minecraft Creeper. So, yeah. If you guys want me to redo the What If, Zuko was, or actually, hold on. What if Soundwave was in, or no, Sideswipe, or like any of those? Like what ifs? Because to be honest, I love the Moo Moo. Like, what if Moo Moo was in My Hero Academia? Because it's a simple design, but the cool part is that Zuko, or that, not Zuko, but if you want me to create a new character for tomorrow's What If, let me know down in the comments below. So I'm just looking at what today is. So the tomorrow, I might do Mono. The Mono is basically a Nomu, Nomu, spelt backwards. Like if you switch Mo, who, no, or if you put Mo in front of a no, and then, yeah. Because that's his actual name. He is like Bizarro. His design, he loves girls, but he never, like, he has the same emotions as, or like same feelings as a human, and but as, of course, he does not love Toga. Oh no, because one, he doesn't, or he doesn't like all the villains because they treat him as a, like, a weapon. But only person that doesn't treat him as a weapon is her. Yeah. So if you want the full story, go back to, like, go check out what if Mono was in My Hero Academia. Yeah. The because the he she knows, or actually he knows that he would rather bond with somebody that's a female one, like her, instead of a crazy lunatic. Because if it was like Toga, I thank goodness I chose her over like Toga. Because I do not want to have that little meme of Toga holding that up. Like telling him that she's pregnant with. That's what it is. Is. So, yeah. Basically, if you guys want me to do a meme thing, so, yeah. And this is the final part, but there's one other thing that I always love. Give me 1 minute to find the stupid thing. It was the... Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? So, yeah, I'm trying to look for the... Definitely not dumb, so, yeah. Just trying to find the... image, but the one that I found that I was laughing at, let me pause it. I'll turn it back on after I find it. So the Pokemon fusion things, this one. So I made this like using the fusion generator things. So this one is kind of funny because it looks like the one that I tried to predict, but and there's this one. This one. Yeah. And then all these guys. Yeah. this one. And yeah, if you guys want me to do the What If series on, like, if you really want me to do a redo on the like, I do not mind doing the Moo Moo one. I'll put in a tab or the voting poll for it. Like, if you guys want me to do something like, what if this guy right here, this one becomes a zombie instead of this actress girl. Oh, because I might do it to just like, because I know that I might put some like voting polls things. Any amount of these likes, like from all 4 of these videos put together, I may do it. So yeah. So I'll just do like a voting poll to just like represent it. So yeah. So peace out, y'all, and have a good night or day, depends on the time zone. So peace out, y'all.